All right, another software update, another dry changelog to skim through, right? Actually, scratch that. No way. Today, we're diving into the Claude Code 2.1.163 release, and let me tell you, this is a legitimate upgrade to our daily workflow. Software updates shouldn't just be a laundry list of tech specs. They should literally make our time at the keyboard smoother, faster, and just way less frustrating. So let's jump right in and see what the devs have actually handed us this time. 6. That's our first magic number today. This isn't just some under-the-hood maintenance patch. This release drops 6 brand new capabilities designed to completely streamline how you build, manage, and scale your projects. We're talking highly practical, tangible features that you're going to want to start weaving into your processes right now. And then we have 18. That is the number of major bugs that just got completely squashed in this version. For those of us living in these tools daily, that translates directly to way fewer workflow interruptions, definitely fewer moments of tearing our hair out over some unexplained error, and just a lot more time staying locked in that flow state. It's a massive cleanup. So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're breaking these updates down into 5 key areas: enterprise control, developer quality of life, advanced tooling, critical bug fixes, and finally, evolving your workflow. Let's kick things off with Section 1, Enterprise Version Control, covering the IT and admin upgrades. Look, when you're deploying tools across a massive organization, having centralized control isn't just a nice-to-have, it's absolutely crucial. With managed version gating, organizations can now set very specific parameters, namely required minimum version and required maximum version, right through their managed settings. So if a user's installed version falls outside of that approved window, Claude Code simply refuses to launch. It's kind of like having a digital bouncer at the door. But it doesn't just leave you hanging. It actively points the user to exactly where they can find the approved version. IT and platform teams finally have that consistent, auditable tooling they desperately need to make sure everyone's on the exact same page. Moving right along to Section 2, Developer Quality of Life, Upgrading the Daily Grind. Okay, be honest. Managing your tools mid-task used to be a huge hassle, right? It pulls you completely out of your code and forces this annoying context switch. Well, to solve that, we now have the new plug-in list command. Before this update, there was literally no built-in way to audit your plugins directly from within Claude Code itself. Now, with one simple command, you can see every single installed plugin at a glance. And even better, you can instantly narrow that list down using the enabled and disabled filters. It seems like a small change, but for auditing your environment mid-task, it's a total game changer. Oh man, this next one is going to bring immediate relief to a lot of you. When you get a response from the by the way command, you can now simply press the C key to copy the raw markdown directly to your clipboard. The real magic here? All the formatting stays perfectly intact when you paste it somewhere else. So if you need to quickly drop an answer into a shared document or a team Slack thread, you don't lose all your structural formatting. It's clean, it's fast, and it just works. All right, let's get into Section 3, Advanced Tooling Upgrades, taking a look under the hood. For all the power users and scripters tuning in, hooks, those scripts that fire off when Claude Code or sub-agent stops, have gotten a massive upgrade. They can now actually send feedback back to Claude by returning hook-specific output.additionalContext. The absolutely crucial point here is that this keeps the conversation turn going. In the past, the system would probably flag this as a hook error and just abruptly crush your flow. Now you can build hooks that actively, dynamically guide Claude rather than just bluntly interrupting the process. It's a huge step forward for smooth automation. And you know that hyper-specific hair-pulling headache where you're trying to use a $ before a digit in a skill command body? The system always wanted to interpret it as a variable reference, right? Well, now, by just throwing a backslash before the $, it accurately outputs a literal $ before the digit. It completely eliminates that parsing headache when you're writing out your skills. So much better. This upgrade also brings some much-needed consistency to the environment through unified session IDs. Standard I/O MCP servers now receive the exact same Claude Code session ID environment variable that your hooks and bash commands see when they're running with the resume flag. Why does this matter? Because correlating activity across different complex parts of a single session is now incredibly easy. Everything is finally speaking the exact same session language. Let's hit Section 4, Critical Bug Fixes, finally removing those major workflow annoyances. Like I said earlier, this isn't just a changelog. It's a victory lap. Let's talk about the sheer dread of a permanently frozen keyboard. We have all been there. You paste something in, the terminal drops the end marker of the paste operation, and boom, your keyboard input goes completely, permanently dead. Well, that post-paste keyboard freeze is officially fixed. And what about when you ran a backgrounded command that never exited and the terminal would just hang there forever after printing its final result? That old frustration is history. The new reality is that background shells are now forcefully stopped roughly 5 seconds after the result, once standard input closes. It's a graceful exit and it keeps your terminal alive. These next fixes get pretty specific for enterprise security and certain OS setups. If you are using Bedrock, Vertex, or Foundry, basically the non-Anthropic backends, and running them with CI equals true, you're probably getting a false Anthropic API key required error. That is definitively fixed. Next up, for anyone using Bazel and EDR-protected Go workflows, there was this nasty regression back in version 2.1154 that forced the temporary directory variable to a very specific path for every command, breaking certain Go security setups and builds. That regression is fully resolved. And finally, for our Windows users out there, Bash commands were failing with an eexist error if your session environment directory was inside OneDrive or had a read-only attribute. Those path conflicts have been decisively squashed. Which brings us to our final section, evolving your workflow and next steps. I want to leave you all with a thought to chew on. With way fewer bugs interrupting your day, with vastly better automation through those new hook contexts, and with instant plugin auditing right at your fingertips, how are these new workflow efficiencies going to change what you build next? Because really, these updates aren't just about fixing code. They are fundamentally about freeing up your time and your mental energy for real innovation. So when the tools finally get out of your way, what are you going to create? If you want to dive even deeper into this release, you can find the full Claude Code manual, along with some fantastic plain English breakdowns of every single release over at claudemaster.net. It is just an absolutely invaluable resource for continuing to optimize your AI workflows. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer today. Keep building, keep exploring, and I'll catch you in the next one.